everyone. Welcome to Thursday, or as I like to call it, Thoughtful Thursdays. This is Nareen's Life with MS. I am Nareen over here, and today I thought I would continue with the theme we have for this week of, reversing the perception of something. And at least previously, Tuesday and Wednesday, it was pretty much turning something that I pretty much achieved to be good, turning into something bad. So I wanted to do something a little more thoughtful about this when I talk about, being a person with MS, having gone through all of these years with MS, and uh, what has changed. And I think the one thing that did end up taking a U-turn for me was definitely taking care of my health in a more holistic fashion. So I'd say before I was diagnosed, or even before, yeah, I'd say before I was diagnosed, I was, I would more focus on just, pretty much increasing my brain power, trying to read as much as possible, trying to, become very knowledgeable, and really only focusing on that. And pretty much, um, before I was diagnosed, I started experiencing symptoms, and to combat those symptoms, I decided to, maybe take a little more care of, other things um, that revolved around my life, something besides studying or reading. And that's when I got into, probably that was the first time that I willingly stepped into the gym, even though none of the results were very good at that point in time, just because, I was experiencing the symptoms, I wasn't diagnosed yet, and so I would try to run, would not be able to run. I would try to, you know, do a little bit of exercises, maybe use some of the machines in the gym. None of that would actually deliver any results. Even going swimming, for example, and at that point in time, I'd known swimming, I want to say, for about 7 or 8 years. um, Even that became um, tiring. It just suddenly I would just start feeling very, very tired, and would not be able to swim regularly. I mean, continuously, between the edges of the pool. And that pretty much created, I mean, it pretty much instilled sort of this, I don't know if I would call it a hunger, but we can just go with that word because that's the only thing that's coming into my brain right now. So it was, yeah, just this hunger came over me that I have to take care of my physical health as much as I like reading, like studying, like just becoming a little more knowledgeable, just powering up my brain. And I so definitely, I definitely would be one that would not um, tell anyone, or would wish something like MS happened to anyone, not even my worst enemy. But saying all of that, I'd say my worst enemy is maybe a staircase. So not much that they can do whether they have MS or not. But regardless of that, I think one thing that MS definitely made me appreciate a little more was sort of the physical abilities that my body had, and of course, to some extent, also my mental capabilities, and of course, everything else that goes on with every other part of my body, because you know at one point in time, um, everything was sort of working, then it went to many things are not working, and then it went back to things are working, and then it kind of is went on a path of decline where you know certain days I wake up and I can't do certain things, uh, and it really made me appreciate um, you know not only what I did have, or what I should have addressed a little bit earlier in the past, but it also makes me appreciate what I have right now. And usually, that is sort of a sentiment that is a little hard to come by, especially when um, you know your world is collapsing around you, right? Because today I might be sitting here talking to you, um, through at least through my phone camera, but tomorrow it might be something completely different. It could be a completely different version of me, someone who probably has more than what I do have right now in terms of abilities, or someone who has um, you know a much smaller amount, a much lower amount of the same abilities that I am currently appreciating. So that is the one thoughtful thing that I did want to talk about, considering that we are talking about this whole U-turn thing of good turning into bad. How you know this this life-changing event, getting MS, how it made me suddenly realize that life is not only about the one single path, but so many other things, right? And that every single aspect of your life has a certain role to play, regardless of whether it is compensating for another part, in your well-being, be it physical, mental, spiritual, um, or anything else. So this is one thing that I did want to talk about today. And I definitely do resonate with this idea that you know until you lose something, you don't realize how much you miss it. um, you know and when I say that, that pretty much comes very close to the feeling that I definitely had pretty much mid 2009, when I was diagnosed, and then I got sick, had a relapse. Everything was pretty much crumbling around me, so I had no idea where to turn, what to do. And it just so happened that I I made myself a promise that whatever the case may be, I will have to you know every day, at least once a day, like stop and just appreciate and just say, you know I might be in a certain condition today, but how do I improve it, or at least try to improve it for tomorrow. um, of course that always does not work out, but just keeping that positive attitude also helped me stay sane for a very long time in my medical condition. And here I want to turn it over to you as to what you think of what your U-turn, what is your thoughtful U-turn that you did end up making as a result of something like being diagnosed with MS, being having something like this, having a disability, having a life-changing event occur, be it good or bad. It does not necessarily have to be something that is as um, as negative a thing as MS. It can definitely be a very positive thing as well. But how did it create that you know change about what you thought of in terms of life and how you approach it? So do share your comments, and I would love to read your insights, engage with you on your inputs. And this has been episode 4 of Thoughtful Thursdays, and thank you so much, and have a great rest of your Thursday.